Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find this and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. Straight and full Detroit and Michigan sports coverage 100% of the time. If you have any opinions on everything that's going on in the Detroit sports world, call in or send a text message live on the show at 231-429-3668. Also, you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips, online at facebook.com/TaylorGatorPhillips14. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips with 2 L's.
And welcome to episode 136 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio. Going to talk some Red Wings. They lost last night badly in Pittsburgh, 4-1. Also going to talk about who will be the number one goaltender on their roster, either Jimmy Howard or Peter Mrazek. Plus the Pistons, how they've been doing lately after their loss to the Timberwolves on Sunday. And by the way, I'm waiting for Tom McCann to call in. He says he wants to. Also, going to talk plenty of college sports in the mitten. Including Michigan State's easy win at Northwestern. CMU getting a win at Ohio. Previewing the Michigan Wolverines Illinois Fighting Illini game tonight at 9 on ESPN. Plus Michigan football defensive back Jabrill Peppers getting 4 more years of eligibility with the Wolverines. He got his medical hardship cleared. Plus, I touch on Tigers designated hitter Victor Martinez having successful meniscus surgery, which is great news, excellent news for the Tigers. And finally, a couple Lions topics. First off, the Red Wings fell flat against the Penguins at Consol Energy Center. Despite outshooting them 24-21, they were outshot 15-7 through 2 periods. Patrick Hornquist, Blake Comeau, David Perron, and Nick Spalding all scored at even strength for the Pens, while Stephen Weiss scored the only Red Wing goal on the power play. Right after that fourth goal, or a few minutes after that fourth goal. Only 3 penalties in that game. The Red Wings were turning the puck over. Which mostly allowed Peter Mrazek to give up all 4 goals in the first 2 periods. Jimmy Howard took over in net for Detroit in the 3rd period. Red Wings captain forward Henrik Zetterberg talked about the game after the game. He said, quote, "They were better. The Penguins were better on all levels in the first. We were slow and didn't know what we're supposed to do, and they scored some goals. We were the ones making the turnovers. We didn't have enough speed, so we put ourselves in situations where we were forced to make a play instead of keeping it simple, and sometimes that happens. We just have to move on." Unquote. Trying to find Jimmy Howard only made 4 saves. The Penguins outshot the Red Wings 17-15. Actually, not 15-7, 17-15 through 2 periods. They outshot them 8-6. Stephen Weiss's goal ended Marc-Andre Fleury's career-long shutout streak at 165 minutes and 6 seconds. He shut out the Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers in his previous 2 starts and had not allowed a goal since Nashville Predators forward Mike Fisher scored 8:20 into the 3rd period of Pittsburgh's 4-0 loss on February 1st this month. Penguins captain Sidney...
Crybaby! How long are you going to keep whining like a child? You're just a crybaby, a coward!
Crosby played his 600th NHL game. He has 825 points, 291 goals, 534 assists. And yes, he is that. He'll always be remembered as that. But safe to say he'll always be remembered as a one-time Stanley Cup winner. So the Red Wings play the Winnipeg Jets Saturday at 7 o'clock. On Fox Sports Detroit. I also want to talk about who the number 1 goaltender should be on the Red Wings roster. Right now I'm looking at both Jimmy Howard and Peter Mrazek. Mrazek's had some very good games and some very bad games. Jimmy Howard has played better than Mrazek all season long. Most would say Jimmy Howard. Peter Mrazek is still the future, maybe the now soon, of Red Wings goaltending. Except Howard still can't make a save in the shootout where Peter Mrazek can. Does Howard just need to get better in the shootout, or is he always that bad in the shootout and won't improve? That's the mystery question. That's the mystery. This season. I mean, Howard's won shootouts in the past. But this year, he hasn't won one shootout. Zero wins in the shootout this season for Jimmy Howard.
Well, I'm the best you've got.
And Mrazek has won two shutout. Peter Mrazek has won 2 of 3 shootouts this season.
Well, I'm the best you've got.
So we're looking at who's the best goaltender in regulation and overtime this season, and the best shootout goaltender, both on this Red Wings roster. Who can do better in regulation and overtime, and who can do better in the shootout? And the question still remains, who can... Is every NHL head coach legally allowed to replace the number one goaltender with the backup goaltender in the shootout? That's what fans are asking. I think so. Unless the NHL rulebook tells us otherwise. Looking at the NHL, looking for the NHL rulebook here. Also, got some news that Tyler Myers got traded to the Winnipeg Jets from the Buffalo Sabres, so he's no longer available. There's still plenty of free agent defensemen out there. Keith Yandel, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson is the most productive available free agent defenseman, or a defenseman on the trading block. And the question is, who do you think the Red Wings will trade for such a defenseman as Oliver Ekman-Larsson? You could call in at 231-429-3668, or you can text in at the same number, 231-429-3668. I still think Mrazek has done well enough to be a number one goaltender, and so is Jimmy Howard. Both overall, and they have flaws that are different from one another. There's got to be some way Mike Babcock could work this out. I would say rotate between Howard and Mrazek during each game. Play Howard one full game, Mrazek the next, play Howard the game after, and then Mrazek the game after that, and so on, just so they can determine who should be the number one goaltender going into the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs. Most would say that Jimmy Howard is still the number one goaltender because his numbers overall are better than Mrazek's, and they are. But when they get to the shootout, Mrazek has outplayed Jimmy Howard, period. Howard's shootout play has been very, very, very concerning. He only stopped one shot in the shootout this season. Two others have gone wide. Howard has allowed 12 goals in the shootout. 12. Mrazek, he's only allowed 3 of he's only allowed 3 goals on 14 shots total. 14 opposition attempts at the shootout. Just three goals of 14 shots allowed. 3 goals allowed of 14 shots in the shootout by Peter Mrazek. Howard has allowed 12 goals of 15 shots. Once again, Howard in regulation and overtime, better goals against average than Peter Mrazek. But in the shootout, Mrazek 3 of 14, 3 goals allowed on 14 shots. Howard 12 goals on 15 shots. That is a joke. That's a joke. Some people just want the shootout gone just because Jimmy Howard is bad at the shootout.
Ah, shut up, you idiot. What? Oh.
I still like the shootout. Just to make things fair here, I would prefer 4 on 4 for 5 minutes, and then 3 on 3 for 5 or 10 minutes, and then a shootout. Just to make sure it happens less. the shootout's still here to stay in the NHL and the AHL as well. Now to the Pistons. Took too much time again. They played much better defense this past Tuesday in Charlotte over the Hornets in a 106-78 win after allowing 27 points in the first quarter. Still leading by a point, 28-27. They played very stout defense the rest of the way, only allowing 51 points in the last three quarters. Then they get spanked 104-87 at home by the defending NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. This is the first time in a while I'm going to make this excuse for the Pistons. They were tired after playing hard in Charlotte. But they wanted to prove that they can shut down bad teams in the NBA defensively. And they did that against the Hornets. And the Spurs are a very high-scoring team. That's one of the reasons why the Spurs, led by Greg Popovich, who has over 1,000 wins in his career, 1,001 and counting. Pistons take the All-Star break and have off until next week, Friday, when they welcome in the Chicago Bulls to the Palace. That's at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit and Detroit Sports 105.1. To college sports, the Michigan State Spartans get a much-needed win over the Northwestern Wildcats 68-44 in Evanston. Travis Trice hit a season-high 13 three-pointers. Travis Trice hit 4 three-pointers. The Spartans hit 13 total. Apologize for the misread. He finished with 16 points on 5 of 11 shooting in 25 minutes. He shot 11 of 33 in his previous 6 games now. Denzel Valentine added 14. Bryn Forbes had 11. Brandon Dawson with 7 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks. The Wildcats at 10-14 overall, 1-10 in the Big Ten, shot only 36%. 15 of 42 in its 10th consecutive loss. Trey Demps led the Wildcats with 20 points on 8 for 12 shooting. Spartans put Northwestern away in the first half. They led 38-13 by leading 38-13 with 1:40 to go. Thanks to Bryn Forbes and Marvin Clark Jr.'s 2 3-point shots each. to lift the Spartans to 22 consecutive points for the 38-13 lead with 140 to go in the first half. The Spartans have now won 6 straight over the Northwestern Wildcats. Spartans led by as many as 35. That improves Tom Izzo's career record to 32-4 all-time against Northwestern, who did what tied with former Purdue coach Ward Lambert for third on the career Big Ten victories list with 228. Bob Knight is on top with 353 Big Ten wins with Indiana, and Gene Keddy is second with 265 conference wins at Purdue. The Spartans have not lost consecutive games at all this season. The Spartans take on the Buckeyes at Breslin Center, the 23rd ranked number 23 Ohio State on Saturday. That is at noon on ESPN. CMU Chippewas, my school, won 68-57. The women's basketball team won 83-69. No, they lost 61-46. Where was that 83-69 game again? No, there was no 83-69 game. Bleacher Report told me that. I can't believe I fell for that. CMUChippewas.com tells me it's 68-57. John Simons led the Chips to with 18 points and 13 rebounds. They're at Buffalo at 2 o'clock against the Bulls Saturday. The Michigan Wolverines take on the Illinois Fighting Illini in Champaign. That's yeah. The Wolverines have lost 3 straight. Pre-game at 8:30. Let me get the preview on mlive.com. Michigan basketball game day. Wolverines head to Illinois to snap a 3-game losing streak. Brendan F. Quinn of mlive.com. The Illini have lost 8 straight to U of M. Of those losses, 4 have come by double digits, including an 84-53 dismantling in Champaign last March that saw the Wolverines make 16 of 23 three-point attempts. That thumping was followed a week later by a 64-63 Michigan win in the quarterfinals of the 2014 Big Ten tournament. A late layup by Jordan Morgan dashed the Illini's hopes of making a final push into the NCAA tournament. Michigan and Illinois last met on December 30th, 2014, last calendar year. This season at Chrysler Center, the Wolverines erased a 13-point deficit Thanks to 20 points from Aubrey Dawkins and swarming 1-3-1 and 2-3 zone defenses, the Wolverines pushed the game into overtime and outscored Illinois 14-6 to win 73-65 in the extra session. The Illini have won 3 straight over Penn State, Rutgers, and Michigan State, while the Wolverines have lost 3 straight to Michigan State, Iowa, and Indiana. With leading scorer Rayvonte Rice out of the lineup on suspension, Kendrick Nunn and or Malcolm Hill have led the Illini in scoring in each of the last 8 games. Hill is averaging 14.8 points per game and shooting 48.2% from the field, 41.7% from three-point distance, and 77.9% from the free throw line. Nunn is averaging 11.5 points per game. The two are accounting for 52.9% of Illinois scoring over the last 9 games. In 5 of his 6 Big Ten wins this season, and each of his last 4, Illinois' defense has held the opponent to 58 points or less. They're attempting to move 2 games above 500 in Big Ten play in February for the first time since 2010. Thursday's game at State Farm Center is an orange out. The Illini lead the nation in free throw percentage at 79.5%. For Michigan, Thursday will mark junior Spike Albrecht's 100th career game. He leads the Wolverines with 2.7 assists to turnover ratio, 82 assists and 30 turnovers, ranking 27th in the nation and 4th in the Big Ten. Want to get an article real quick. Jabrill Peppers cleared his medical hardship. The defensive back has 4 eligibility years left with the Wolverines football team. It was cleared Tuesday and the former 5-star prospect began last season as the team's starting nickel, though he was also slated to play some corner and return punts, though an ankle injury in the first half of the season opener forced him to miss the team's second game of the year at Notre Dame. He returned to action against Miami, Ohio, and played against Utah in Week 4, but a separate injury to his knee prior to a Week 5 matchup against Minnesota ended up shutting him down for the rest of the season. Your thoughts on any of those topics, 231-429-3668. Call in or text. Going to talk some Tigers now. They got some great, excellent news. Actually, their star designated hitter Victor Martinez, after tearing his meniscus in his knee, had successful meniscus surgery in his knee and is expected to rehab for just 4 to 6 weeks and still be ready for the 2015 MLB regular season opener at Comerica Park against the Ron Gardenhire-less Minnesota Twins on Monday, April 6th. I find, just when I thought ahead of time that Victor Martinez was going to be out the entire season again, like in 2012, when he suffered an actually much worse injury in his knee, I find out that he was expected to have surgery, and if it was successful, he would be out for just 4 to 6 weeks effective immediately, if not 12 to 16 weeks, which still does not put him out for the season. I found a couple sources that say that Vmart's injury could derail the Tigers' season entirely.
Crybaby! How long are you going to keep whining like a child? You're just a crybaby, a coward!
That's what I think of those writers right there. Victor Martinez, as of now, effective immediately, Victor Martinez is only out 4 to 6 weeks effective immediately, which means he will not be out for... He probably won't be out for any portion of the 2015 Major League Baseball regular season. Are you guys getting this? One of those can be one of those was from Bleacher Report. I was going to look for the other one, but I don't want to bore you. I guess I don't want to bore you with that one. Cabrera could actually be Miguel Cabrera, their first baseman, could be ready for the opener as well. We still don't know that yet. Also, and finally, I find yet another article that labels Lions rookie tight end Eric Ebron a bust. That was spoken first by Tony, NFL analyst and former Indianapolis Colts head coach Tony Dungy.
Ah, shut up, you idiot. What? Oh.
That is not what I want to hear. What's your problem there, pal? Can't a guy get a bit of sleep? Don't bug me.
Kyle Meinke writes from MLive.com, Tony Dungy, Detroit Lions' Eric Ebron won't be a bust if he can learn to make the routine play. But Tony Dungy, fast forwarding here, but Tony Dungy says it's way too premature to call Ebron a bust. He said, quote, I know they're expecting a lot more out of him, and I think they'll get more in his second year, the former coaching great said. He's a talented guy, unquote. Talent has never been an issue for Ebron. Just look at his highlight reel from North Carolina. It features all kinds of breathtaking displays of athleticism, from skying for touchdowns to tippy-toeing along sidelines and hauling in one-handed catches of all varieties. That one against Georgia Tech was especially gnarly. But while Ebron showed he could make the spectacular play, the knock on him was that he would struggle with the routine play. And he did during his rookie season with the Lions. He dropped too many easy passes, particularly early in training camp, and began the season with a reduced role because of it. Ebron did improve late in the year as the game slowed for him and he became more comfortable in the Lions' play-heavy offense. And Dungy says continuing to clean up those routine mistakes could turn him into the playmaker Detroit envisioned him to be. So Tony Dungy literally is not really labeling Ebron a bust. what Dungy is saying is that Ebron is improving, and he's right.
Well, I'm the best you've got.
Dungy said, quote, he just has to learn the pro game and what's expected and get that consistency. He needs to realize it's not about the highlight film plays. It's the everyday plays, that the ordinary plays, and he'll get a feel for that, unquote. Ebron, to his credit, seems to understand that. He said after the season that the learning curve was more difficult than he anticipated, but now he understands just what is expected out of a tight end in this offense. Ebron said, quote, next year you come back with those experiences and the wisdom, and you just put on an even better show, unquote. History supports Dungy's point that it's too early to call Ebron a busted pick. Tight end is notorious for being one of the more difficult college to NFL transitions because of the complexities of the pro offenses and how multiple players have to be at that position. Ebron's numbers, in fact, closely mirror those of Vernon Davis, the last tight end drafted in the top 10. The former 6th overall pick caught 20 balls, 20 passes for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns as a rookie. Things turned out pretty okay for him. According to this draft analysis, tight ends selected in the first round over the past decade averaged 33 receptions for 387 yards and 3 scores in their rookie seasons. In other words, pretty comparable to Ebron. I'm going to go ahead and move on here. I heard today from Matt Derry on the way home from seeing the campus of Central Michigan University on the Detroit Sports 105.1 mobile app, that the Lions need a better offensive line. He's right. Matt Derry says he doesn't want the Lions to get any more running backs. I agree with that too. The Lions have plenty. Joy Bell and Reggie Bush, for example. Justin Rogers of MLive.com writes that the Lions need more depth at defensive tackle regardless of Ndamukong Suh's decision that he wants to sign with the Seattle Seahawks. The first-round option, Malcolm Brown from Texas. The 6'4", 320-pounder has ideal size with matching production, racking up 6.5 sacks and 15 tackles for a loss on his way to first-team All-American honors for the Longhorns in 2014. He'd fit well in Terrell Austin's multiple front defense. The mid-round option, Marcus Hardison from Arizona State, led the Sun Devils with 10 sacks and 15 tackles for loss in 2014. He intercepted 2 passes and forced 3 fumbles. And finally, the late round option, Latarius Walton from Central Michigan, my school. Fire up, Chips. Who doesn't love a local prospect, a two-star offensive line recruit out of Clinton Township? Walton converted to defense and redshirted his freshman season at Central Michigan, but he steadily improved each year and has the size and athleticism you'd like to see at the position. Selecting Walton could be akin to how the Lions handled Larry Webster last season, focusing far more on development than playing time as a rookie. That's going to do it for Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 136. I will talk to you next time. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
I think we can close the logo now.